All right, so you guys may or may not already know that there is going to be a new Nanami dropping on the JP side of Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade. He is dropping kind of alongside the new Gojo and new Shoko, and they are both very good units, so it's expected that this character is also going to be good for the 1.5 year anniversary. This particular Nanami is an earlier version of him when he was still in college, presumably. So it's going to be interesting to see how he ends up working. Now, as for like predictions, we do have some predictions on like what typing he's going to be, what types of teams he's going to be able to go on, maybe some of his auto skills and stuff like that. And a lot of that is thanks to the JP players. I really like how they fill out the website for a character before the character's even released. Like they just make predictions and then they go back and update it all when the character comes out with like what teams he's actually good on and stuff like that. But once again, he's going to be coming out on June 30th, so definitely something to look forward to. These translations are rough because this website is originally in Japanese, so keep that in mind. He is going to be a limited character, so that's also important to note. So if you are thinking about starting JP, now you want to try to get Shoko, Gojo, and Nanami all if you can, because they're going to be limited. It's a possibility that he will reappear in the future, but he's not going to be like in the general pool, so it's going to be a little bit harder to obtain him. So people are thinking right now it's a very high possibility that this Nanami is going to be a red Nanami because we already have green, yellow, and blue in the game. However, we do not have an SSR version of a red Nanami. Of course, we do have the SR version of red Nanami, but we don't have an SSR version yet. So obviously we won't be able to run the new Nanami with the SR version or the other ones. So it's expected that he's most likely going to be a buff character similar to his SR counterpart. It would make sense, and he's also going to be able to do a decent amount of damage. Now the question is he going to be a self buffer or a team buffer like this Nanami right here? I'm hoping he's a team buffer because you want obviously the new SSR red character to be used more than the OG SR red character, so they have to make him good, right? Plus he's a limited character, but we'll have to see. But hopefully he'll be really good, and there's a very high possibility that he is going to have buff skills for the team. Additionally, people are saying this, since he is a student, does he have overtime work? People are thinking that more than likely, since he is a college student in his first year, he's expected not to have the auto skill of overtime that the other Nanamis have, which I find really interesting. So we're not going to have that auto skill, meaning there is room potentially for another auto skill to be placed on this character. We'll have to see what it is when he comes out, or when we get more information on him, whichever comes first, right? And then, like I said before, he can't be on the same team as SR Nanami or the other Nanamis. I feel like that's an obvious thing, like we know that by now. And then we do have some idea team formations. So this is the idea, assuming that he's just going to be like a straight damage character, which is a possibility. So assuming that Nanami is like a straight damage character and only like does self buffs, you're going to want to run some sort of team like this with a debuffer, a buffer, another buffer, and then him, right? That would probably be a pretty decent team. Now, assuming that Nanami is going to be a character who can buff other characters and also do damage, similar to maybe like Yellow Nanami, this might be the team you want to run him on, where you're going to run Kaido for a battery, and then you're going to have Yaga and then Nanami here, and they're going to both be buffing up Toji, and then Toji's going to hopefully be able to do some decent damage. Both these characters being taijutsu characters, this is going to be like a pretty ideal taijutsu team, so it could be a pretty decent team idea right here to run with this Nanami, assuming that he is a buffer. But once again, we don't know any of this for sure, but just keep in mind that like Red Yaga top of the tier list, and Toji top of the tier list, and then if this Nanami is as good as we think, that's another top of the tier list character. So 3 top of the tier list characters, really good. Kaido technically you could argue is there, but for different reasons, well, maybe not quite as high as Yaga. Yaga's just the GOAT, right? So Nanami's looking very interesting. And then here are the recommended just recollections for him. I don't think these are going to change. Realistically, I think these probably are going to be the best recollections to put on him, because if he's not a taijutsu character, like, that's just wild, man. He's got to be, or he's got to be like a split like taijutsu jujutsu character or something, but there's no way he's just a straight jujutsu character. That'd be wild. So these have to be the best recollections you can run on him. So in general, like adult time is going to be pretty good. All of these are going to be pretty good recollections right here to run on him. Here's your free to play options, of course, or free to play option. And so I think overall, he's looking pretty interesting so far. I'm not sure how I feel about him, but we will see. I will try to pull for him. I have about 20,000 cubes saved up on JP since I did just restart my JP account, so hopefully I can pull him, but we'll see. You also are going to want to save up. I do want to point this out. Your things to work on your potential routes if you're trying to get him leveled up quickly. Once again, you have a couple of days to do that. If you are just going to be starting JP or you've been playing JP, you have about 5 days to do that. So you want to make sure you save up your resources so that you can work on his potential route as soon as you get him, and get him unlocked and leveled up a little bit more if you're thinking about doing that. So they also say, for firepower support characters such as buffers, prioritize unlocking +5 initial spells, which can be expected to increase the number of times the skill can be used. So if he is a buffer, that is something you're going to want to be able to do. And once again, that comes down to having the potential route resources to be able to do that. And that is pretty much all of the information that we have on the new Nanami right now. Not a whole lot there, right? They literally just gave us the image and said that Nanami's coming out. And so, I mean, definitely hype in my opinion. I think it's one of the better choices that they could have made. I mean, if they were not to choose him, who do you think would have been a better choice for them to go with? Let me know down in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. Peace.